Right now, as you're watching this, someone else is watching it too. In a different country, a different time zone, a different life, but the same quiet hour. Tonight we're exploring why some people feel everything too deeply, together. If this is your first video here, take a look around, subscribe if it feels like home, and leave a comment, your location, your time. That small act of saying, "I'm here," does something. It reminds all of us that we're not as alone in this as the dark sometimes makes us feel. Lights low, here we go. There's a particular kind of tired that doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from feeling too much. A song plays, and it doesn't just sound nice, it moves something in your chest. A stranger looks sad on the train, and you carry that sadness with you for the rest of the day. Someone raises their voice, even slightly, and your whole body responds, long after the moment is past. If this is you, you've probably heard things like, "You're too sensitive. You think about things too much. Why does this affect you so much?" And maybe, over time, you started to believe it, that something about you is too much. Tonight, I want to offer a different way of seeing this. Not as a flaw to manage, but as a kind of perception, one that comes with real costs and real gifts. In psychology, there's a real research trait called sensory processing sensitivity. It's not a disorder. It's not something that needs fixing. It's a difference in how the nervous system processes information. People with this trait take in more detail, more nuance, more of what's happening beneath the surface of a conversation, a room, a relationship. Where some people notice a conversation went fine, a highly sensitive person notices the slight change in tone 3 sentences in, the pause before someone answered, the thing that was almost said but wasn't. This isn't overthinking, it's accurate noticing. The nervous system of a highly sensitive person is, quite literally, picking up more signal from the same environment everyone else is in. And processing all of that takes energy. Real, measurable energy. Which is why, at the end of a normal day, a day that looked perfectly ordinary from the outside, you can feel completely depleted. Not because anything went wrong, but because you were running a more detailed version of the same day everyone else had. But here's where it gets more complicated. Sensitivity itself isn't the problem. The problem is what happens when a sensitive child grows up in an environment that doesn't know what to do with that sensitivity. Maybe you cried easily as a child and were told to toughen up. Maybe you noticed tension in a room before anyone else did and were told you were imagining things. Maybe your big feelings were met with impatience, not cruelty necessarily, just a kind of, "Can we not do this right now?" And so, slowly, you learned something. You learned that your depth was an inconvenience, that feeling things this strongly made you difficult. And so you adapted. You got quieter about it. You learned to feel things without showing that you were feeling them. But the feelings didn't get smaller. You just got better at carrying them alone. Now, as an adult, that early adaptation shows up in quiet ways. You might be the friend everyone comes to with their problems, because you listen so well, you absorb so completely. But when something is wrong with you, you hesitate to say anything. Some part of you still believes it would be too much. You might replay small moments for hours, a slightly off tone in a text message, a joke that didn't quite land, a silence that felt different than usual. Not because you're paranoid, but because your system is built to notice these things, and once noticed, they don't just disappear. You might also find that crowded, loud, fast environments drain you in a way they don't seem to drain other people. Not because you dislike people, but because you are processing every person in that room all at once all the time. And underneath all of this, there's often a quiet, persistent question. Why can't I just let things go the way other people seem to? There's a way of thinking about this that comes from an old idea in philosophy. The idea that perception itself is a kind of gift, even when it costs something. The poet Rumi wrote about the wound being the place where the light enters. It's a beautiful line, but I think there's something even more useful hidden inside it. The same opening that lets pain in is the opening that lets everything else in too. The beauty of a song that moves you to tears. The warmth of a small kindness that someone else might not even register. The way a quiet evening can feel like enough, can feel like everything, if you're paying close enough attention. People who feel deeply don't get a discount on the hard feelings in exchange for a smaller experience overall. They get more, of all of it. The depth that makes 3 a.m. hard is the same depth that makes a sunset feel like a religious experience. The same depth that makes love, when it's good, feel like coming home. Here's something worth sitting with. Your feelings are not random. They are not your mind malfunctioning. They are information. When you feel uneasy around someone before you can explain why, that's information. When a place feels wrong the moment you walk in, that's information. When you feel a wave of sadness during what should be a happy moment, that's information too. Something is being noticed. Something is being processed, even if you can't immediately name what it is. The world often teaches sensitive people to distrust this information, to override it, to talk themselves out of what they're feeling because it's inconvenient, or because no one else seems to feel it too. But what if, just for tonight, you considered the possibility that your feelings have been right more often than you gave them credit for? Something shifts when a person stops treating their sensitivity as something to apologize for. The exhaustion doesn't disappear completely. The nervous system is what it is. But the shame around it begins to lift. And shame, it turns out, was costing more energy than the sensitivity itself. The constant internal narration. Why am I like this? Why can't I just be normal? What's wrong with me? That narration is exhausting in a way that's separate from the feeling itself. When that narration quiets, something interesting happens. The same depth of feeling becomes less like a flood and more like weather. Still intense, still real, but something you can sit with, rather than something you have to survive. And slowly, you start choosing your environments differently. Fewer draining situations, not out of avoidance, but out of self-respect. More moments of quiet, not because you're hiding, but because you finally understand that quiet is where you do your best processing, not your worst. So tonight, I don't want to give you anything to do. No exercises. No reframes to practice. Just this. If you've felt too much today, that's allowed. If a small moment from this week is still sitting somewhere in your chest, that's allowed too. You don't have to make it smaller to be okay. You don't have to explain it, justify it, or apologize for it. Not even to yourself. Just for tonight, let it be exactly the size it is, and let that be enough. I want to say something now, slowly, to whoever needs to hear it. You were never too much. You were simply more. More aware, more attuned, more open to a world that doesn't always know what to do with openness. And that has cost you. I know it has. The late nights, the replaying, the exhaustion that no one else seems to understand. But it has also given you something, a way of loving people that goes all the way through, a way of noticing beauty in moments other people walk straight past, a way of being alive that is, in its own quiet way, rare. Tonight, you don't have to carry it. Just set it down, right here, beside the bed. It will still be there in the morning, lighter somehow, for having been put down at all. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders soften. Let the noticing, just for now, rest. You don't have to feel anything else tonight. You've already felt enough. More than enough. And that was always exactly right. If this reached you tonight, leave a comment. Just your city and the time. And if you want more nights like this one, subscribe. We're here every Monday and Thursday. Same quiet place. Same honest voice. Good night, wherever you are.